Terror attack rocks the city of Nice, France, as it celebrated Bastille Day. 84 dead.
Sri Lanka will support the global community in eradicating terrorism, a statement from the president.
Importers lament that certain goods cannot be imported at the maximum price set by the government.
වැඩි වෙනකොට පරණ ගානට ගෙනාපු බඩුමනේ වැඩි වුණාම විකුණන්න. එතකොට ඒ වෙලාවට කියන්නේ නැහැ නේ මේ අපි පරණ ගානට දෙනවා කියලා. වැඩි වුණා. එතකොට අඩු වුණාමත් අඩු ගානට දෙන්න ඕන.
Case filed against Basil Rajapaksa and 3 others at the High Court. FCID requests court to issue a warrant against Udayanga Veeratunga.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Joel Outscore.
And I'm Jitendra Gunasena. Let's now take a look at the top story for tonight.
And on to your top story this evening, at least 84 people have been killed in the French city of Nice after an armed man drove a truck at full speed for 2 kilometers through a crowd who had gathered to watch the Bastille Day fireworks display over the seafront.
French authorities earlier this evening announced that the Bastille Day attack suspect is thought to be French-Tunisian 31-year-old Mohamed Lahouj Bouhel. A hospital treating children injured in the attack says it has been unable to trace the parents of a number of them.
The Newsfirst International Desk filed this report.
France capped its Bastille Day celebrations with a fireworks display over the Eiffel Tower. However, television screens later in the night broke the horrific news that took place in Nice.
Good morning. A day of French pride is now one of terror, panic and tragedy.
The quiet coastal town of Nice, known as the capital of the French Riviera, was shocked when an attacker in a truck mowed over a group of people that had watched the Bastille Day fireworks. A French-Tunisian criminal well known to the police for armed attacks used a hired lorry to drive through a crowd. At least 10 children among the dead in the Riviera city, following a cowardly and barbaric atrocity believed to have been carried out by a 30-year-old attacker. Officials fear the death toll will rise, as hundreds remained in hospital, including 18 fighting for their lives in intensive care. Anti-terrorist judges opened an investigation into mass murder, and investigators searched the home of the driver later on. President François Hollande spoke of a monstrosity and said soldiers would be deployed at the country's borders.
France is afflicted by this new tragedy. It is horrified by what just happened. This monstrosity that consists of using trucks to kill, deliberately kill, dozens of people who were simply there to celebrate the 14th of July. France is mourning. It is afflicted, but it is strong and it will always be strong. I assure you that the fanatics who want to strike it today.
Que les fanatiques qui veulent aujourd'hui la frapper.
Hollande announced that he would extend his country's state of emergency due to end on the 26th of July by an additional 3 months. Sources close to the inquiry said the perpetrator was a local 30-year-old career criminal who was born in Tunisia before moving to France. The 19-ton lorry had zigzagged through crowds, marching on the promenade, killing anyone he could. After being stopped by armed police who fired bullets into the lorry's windscreen, the so far unnamed man exchanged fire with officers using a 7.65mm pistol before being shot dead. The attack on Nice was condemned by world leaders.
We support our friends and partners in France, and we join with others around the world in hoping that this will be the end of this type of horrific incident that is targeted at unarmed civilians. US Secretary of State John Kerry and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov
held a moment of silence for the victims. A mother who lost her baby in the panic as the Nice terror attack unfolded has been reunited following a desperate social media appeal. Tiawa Banner posted on Facebook appealing for anyone who had seen her 8-month-old son. She later updated her Facebook appeal to reveal she had been reunited with the child.
The Nice hospitals need blood. There is a huge movement of solidarity in France, and people are giving their blood to help those who have been hurt. We don't know yet if these attacks are linked to ISIS or to Daesh. It seems so because there were many guns and in the truck. In France, we were expecting a new attacks. We thought it would happen during the Euro soccer tournament, but it did not. It happened just yesterday evening.
Indeed, some shocking news there. Meanwhile, condemning the terror attack in Nice, Paris, President Maithripala Sirisena has conveyed his deeper sympathies to the people of France on behalf of the government and the people of Sri Lanka.
In a letter addressed to French President François Hollande, President Sirisena says that Sri Lanka, as a nation that has emerged from the ravages of terrorism, unreservedly condemns such acts of terror. President Sirisena has reiterated the need for concerted and collective action by the international community to address these challenges in order to ensure peace and security. The letter goes on to note that the government and people of Sri Lanka stand in solidarity with the government and the people of France at this time of grief.
Minister Sajid Premadasa says that attempts being made to enact the public mandate is being described by some people as a form of political vengeance.
The foundation stone for the Sandakirana village in the Siribopur area in Hambantota was laid today under the Samata 7 National Housing Programme. This is the 41st Udagammane which is being constructed in the Hambantota district. 25 houses are to be constructed in the village. Deeds and financial aid was also presented by Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa.
The Mahinda Rajapaksa Janadipatitumama කියනවා එතුමා වටේ හිටපු අය හොරකම් කරා.
Mahinda Rajapaksa himself is saying that the people that were around him robbed, that they did wrongful things and that they were corrupt. He says he did not do anything about it and that the thieves were not punished. When the government that came into power starts punishing those who engaged in these acts, when the law is enacted in the country, what are they saying? They say that this is political revenge and that this is a witch hunt. When the corrupt and the thieves are brought before the law, isn't it justice that is meted out? The mandate was to nab the thieves. The mandate was to stop enacting the law of the jungle.
The Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division has requested court to issue a warrant against former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Weerathunga, so that he could be arrested through Interpol.
Udayanga Weerathunga was ordered to appear before the 4th Magistrates Court today with regard to an alleged irregularity said to have taken place when purchasing aircraft for the Sri Lanka Air Force. However, Udayanga Weerathunga did not appear before court today. Later, the Financial Crimes Investigation Division of Police requested that a warrant be issued against him. 4th Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna stated that the order regarding the warrant would be given on the 18th. Meanwhile, a case was filed against 4 individuals, including former Minister Basil Rajapaksa, in connection to an incident where roofing sheets worth 33 million rupees were provided to Divi Nagama beneficiaries in the run-up to the presidential election. The defendants in the case, filed by the Attorney General, include the former Secretary to the Ministry of Economic Development, Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka, former Director General of the Divi Nagama Department, RAAK Ranawaka, and the former Deputy Director of the Divi Nagama Department, Bandula Tilakasiri.
දුප්පත් ජනතාවට ගෙවල් හදන්න සල්ලි දීප පිළිබඳව තමයි මේ අද චෝදනාව.
ඔව් එතකොට මේ අලුත් සන්දානය සම්බන්ධව මොකද?
අද මේ රටේ ජනතාවට හිතේ අර කාර්ය සත්‍යයක් උදා වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳව අපි ඉදිරියට දේශපාලන වශයෙන් කටයුතු කරනවා.
The government introduced a new control price for 16 goods last night. However, the Essential Food Commodities Importers and Traders Association says that it is impossible to sell sugar, dal and spreads at the new control prices. Newsfirst visited the markets today to inquire into the situation following the introduction of the new control prices.
The government introduced control prices for 16 goods. Can the consumers purchase these goods at their new rates, or are they simply restricted to the Gazette notification?
පාලන මිල සීමා වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ගැසට් එකට විතරද. අපි මේ ගැන හොයලා බලන්න අද වෙළඳ පොලේ සංචාරය කරා. ගිහින් බලමු. මයිසූර් පරිප්පු කිලෝ එකක් කීයද? 200. 200යි. පාල්මැස්සු කිලෝ එක? 700. 700යි. කඩල? 250යි. මුංගට කිලෝ එක? 260යි. 260යි. සමන් පොඩි සමන් රුපියල් 80යි. 80යි. සීනි කිලෝ එක? 120යි. පාන් පිටි කිලෝ එක? 95යි. 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 එතකොට කිරි පිටි ග්‍රෑම් 400. 325යි. 325යි නේ. කුකුල් මස් කිලෝ එක? 380යි. අල කිලෝ එක? ලංකා එක 200යි. රට එක 120යි. 120යි. බීලුණු? බීලුණු 80යි. බීලුණු 80යි. මිරිස් කර, ගිලි මිරිස් කර 360යි කිලෝ එක. 360යි. ඔව්. කට්ට කරවල කිලෝ එක? 1200යි. 1200යි. සාලය කරවල කිලෝ එක? 700. 700යි. උඹලකඩ කිලෝ එක? 1800. 1800. ඉතින් මේ මිල ගණන් අද දවසේ දැන් වෙලාව පස්වරුත් 3යි.
It's 3 in the afternoon and only 2 items can be purchased for the control price introduced by the government.
පවතින්නේ පාලන මිලට වඩා.
Retail stores continue to sell goods at the old price.
It's still sold at the old price. The prices in markets have increased.
What control prices? All the prices are going up. The Gazette on the new control prices introduced by the government for 16 essential food items was released at midnight yesterday. However, importers point out that certain items cannot be sold at the new control prices when taking into account the prices in global markets.
We are paying an excise duty of 30 rupees for sugar. There are around 25,000 tons of sugar with the importers. Around 750 million rupees has been paid for that. If we sell it for 95 rupees, we will incur loss of over 750 million rupees. If there is no duty, we can sell the items for the control price. The control price for peas is 260 rupees. If you consider the global market, even wholesalers cannot sell at this price. We hope the government would mete out justice to the traders who have incurred losses through this.
According to the extraordinary Gazette released last night, the Consumer Affairs Authority has issued orders that no manufacturer, importer, packer, distributor or trader shall sell, expose or offer for sale the items listed above the maximum retail price introduced. The CAA noted that legal action will be taken against errant traders. Although the CAA made such a warning, traders say that the introduced control price is not a practical solution.
If Satasa sells at the control price, then we can also do it. We are unable to sell goods at this price because the wholesale price is high. If they lower the prices from the farm itself, then we can sell it at this price. The price of sugar is 115 rupees today. The tax alone is about 88 rupees. If we can buy it at around 85 rupees, the retailers can then sell it at around 95 rupees.
When there is a price increase, the already stocked goods will have to be sold at the reduced price. At that time, they will not say that they are selling it for the lower price. When there is a price reduction, it needs to be adhered to. We have informed the Consumer Affairs Authority to commence the raids this week. Officers will be dispatched to the divisional secretariats. Sugar needs to be sold in 90s from the day that Gazette is released. No one can deny that. If any trader has increased his price, a complaint needs to be made to the Consumer Affairs Authority, that is the CAA branch at every district secretariat.
Protests were carried out in a number of locations against the amendments made to the value-added tax commonly known as VAT.
A number of traders in Peta shut down their businesses and protested this morning against the increase of VAT from 11% to 15%, charging that they cannot continue their business activities as a result of the tax amendment. The protesters, who arrived by foot, protested opposite the Colombo Fort railway station. Meanwhile, distributing leaflets in the city of Jaffna today, the JVP charged that even though an interim order was issued by the Supreme Court, the government is attempting to find other ways to implement the increase in VAT. JVP leaders expressed views on this matter at 3 separate locations.
At present, the Supreme Court has made a decision to temporarily halt the increase in VAT. That is an important judgment. Even though the government accepted the Supreme Court judgment, what the government is trying to do now is to disregard that judgment and bring a motion to Parliament in order to increase VAT again. It is the stance of the JVP that this motion should not be passed under any circumstance.
Now, if they make this legal, can we accept it? No, we cannot. They can make it legal. All they need to do is submit it to Parliament, raise their hands and get it passed. A public referendum is needed to oppose this motion. The Prime Minister said that the people of this country need to be prepared to drink bitter medicine. What is happening now is that we have to drink the bitter medicine that is being prescribed by the Prime Minister.
A surprising situation has befallen the general public. Why does the public elect a government? They do it to get some sort of relief to their lives, to ease their burden. Those that are elected proceed to tell the people that their lives are tough and to support them. Whatever they say, VAT will not be reduced. If VAT is abolished, they will simply rebrand it and present it before the nation because they definitely need the money generated through VAT.
Still in local news, views were expressed on the coal scam at a media briefing held at the UMP headquarters in Sirikota today.
I think the calculations done and the report submitted by the Auditor General on the alleged corruption that had taken place during the purchase of coal is false. False information means that a false picture has been created due to this. They had shown the index of $58 as a buying price. That is false. The correct figures should be revealed. The $58 index is just an index. Based on this, adjustments have to be made. So we will have to look at that. The Auditor General has been shown the false picture, or they have been given a false idea. Either they have gone wrong, or we have to investigate whether they had been given false information. No, I'm not saying that he has been influenced. I do not know who has done the audits at the Auditor General's department. According to what I see, the audit has been conducted haphazardly. If the Auditor General's report was based on false information, the Anti-Corruption Front questions as to why answers have not been provided to it for over 7 months. The Anti-Corruption Front questions as to why the Secretary to the Ministry, Suren Batagoda, who acted as the Chief Officer of Transactions, failed to attend the auditor's review. The front has requested Subject Minister Ranjit Simbalapitia to release Suren Batagoda from duties until the investigations into the transactions are concluded. In a letter to the minister, the Anti-Corruption Front notes that a group including Batagoda are providing excuses to save themselves without providing a solution to this issue.
Come at the 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
This is the Gammadda Secretariat that has been set up for the Gammadda 100 Days program. This is the location where the support, the aid provided by you, the public of our country, will be processed and will be assessed. These donations and your support will be taken to the people who need it in the areas that have been identified through the Gammadda program. You can call our Gammadda Secretariat on our number 0114 896 896 and hand in your donations, your aid, that we will process and take to the people who have been affected. As you can see, Newsfirst staff are working around the clock to process the data that we've gathered, the problems that we have identified, and as well as the aid that has been already provided, already produced by the public of our country. As I mentioned earlier, you can call us on our number 0114 896 896 for any queries that you have, or if you want to support the Gammadda 100-day program. For the Newsfirst team, I am Chaturanga Pawarachi, reporting from the Gammadda Secretariat.
Well, thank you, Chaturanga, for that update. Let's now turn our attention to a few issues that we hope to tackle through the Gammadda 100-day initiative.
The laments of a village who lack sanitary facilities. the darkened lives of fishermen. In search of a drop of water, the people of Padikaramadu. Over 25 families living in the village of the Botuava Akurasa lack sanitary facilities. Their plea is that a public toilet facility be provided to them.
We do not have enough money to construct toilets. If you can construct toilets for us, that is the biggest help that you can do. We live a very hard life.
We are living amidst many hardships. We do not have water, not even a toilet.
We have to go to the jungle if we need to use a toilet. There are girls in our families.
These people of Batiklo, who depend on fishing to sustain their lives, request that their signal lamp be renovated. The signal lamp, which has been dysfunctional for a period of time, has brought great danger to the fishermen of the area. The people of Padikaramadu, Anuradhapura, face a drinking water crisis. While over 450 families reside in this village, many of them suffer from kidney disease. The residents of this village need to travel a number of kilometers to just obtain a drop of water to drink, or they request for is a tube well and a water filter.
This is the pot I boil water in. You can only use a pot for 1 month, then you have to change it. The water is brackish.
With the people.
Lives without laughter. Every day brings tears of sorrow. Let's build a better tomorrow.
The Gammadda 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
Be a part of a life-changing moment. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone.
"30 houses were damaged by gale force winds that swept across the Kuralavala area in Moratuwa. The Disaster Management Centre noted that 4 persons were injured.
Gale force winds swept across the area at around 4 this morning. Locals said that the winds lasted for around 2 minutes.
When we woke up, the roofing sheets were gone. We waited for the noise to fade away and then we stepped out.
There was a loud noise accompanied by the winds. I knew that there was debris all over. The boats and the light posts were damaged. The supply of electricity to the area was also disrupted due to this situation. The Department of Meteorology said that gale force winds were caused by the activation of the southwestern monsoon season. The Department of Meteorology says that during the next 24 hours, wind speeds in the sea areas from Puttalam to Trincomalee via Kankasanture and from Pothuwil to Matara via Hambantota will increase up to 50 km per hour.
A luncheon forum titled Brexit Briefing, the Possible Impact, organized by the Shippers Academy Colombo, was held in Colombo today.
Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Harsha De Silva, newly appointed Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy and several other experts joined in a luncheon forum.
This government took the decision to strengthen democracy, not to get GSP Plus or not to get any other trade concession. We did it for the people of this country, and we are certain that we will get GSP Plus in the next, well, I'm saying 6 to 9 months, and we hope that a trade deal with Singapore will be around sooner. We are now beginning the negotiations with India on ECTA. I'm happy to note that some of the critics, particularly those representing various professions, have been meeting with the government, and we have already promised a slot on the negotiating team for the professionals. And this is as transparent as it can get. So what we are going to do is to transparently negotiate the agreement with India.
So whether or not Brexit took place, I think there was a case for diversifying our export markets, our export products. So that continues. The only thing one can say is that ex-post Brexit, there is more uncertainty about the European market. So one needs to factor that in terms of your future plans. I mean, it's very disappointing, if you think about it, that since independence, basically, we've only created a $1 billion export product. That's it's not a great record. So I think there are challenges for exporters and for policymakers to create the right environment for exports, because we haven't often had that.
Now, still in local news, the General Secretary of the Tamil United Liberation Front, also known as TULF, has written a letter to the President on probing war crimes.
The Tamil United Liberation Front issuing a letter says that even though TULF opted to choose the hybrid special court to probe the alleged war crimes, after seriously considering the type of cases that are to be probed into, it feels certain types of crimes cannot be conveniently taken up by the hybrid special courts. It points out that therefore, except in some uncomplicated cases, all the others will have to be decided on the merits of each case as to whether it is the hybrid special court or the domestic mechanism that should probe into a particular incident. It also states that a committee could be set up to decide on the merits of each case as to which one should be investigated by the domestic court or by the hybrid court, adding that torture resulting in death should go to the hybrid special court and only torture could be taken up for probing at the domestic courts. It concludes by saying that the cases for which capital punishment can be imposed should be referred to the hybrid court, and in the event of the hybrid court is not set up, a team of observers with legal knowledge could be made present at all such trials.
The 16th edition of the World Export Development Forum will be held in Colombo in October this year. A media briefing was held today to create awareness on the forum.
The World Export Development Forum is being jointly organized by the Sri Lanka Export Development Board and the International Trade Centre.
Over the past 7 to 8 months, the government has undertaken many tasks aimed at reducing the debt burden of the country that stands at over $10 billion. We have taken measures to halve this debt. We are engaging in discussions with China to reduce the interest rates of the loans that were granted. We are planning on creating trade zones around the Hambantota port and airport, which are currently not making any profits. Countries such as India, Pakistan and China, as well as a number of other nations, have come forward to invest in this zone.
And well, that's a wrap of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Japeen Preekunasena.
Well, before wrapping up, here's a reminder that you can keep abreast of the latest and trending stories on our award-winning website, www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outskoon. Take care. Good night.